Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Chinese ebook before it's gone.
Hi everybody, Inru here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer most of your common Chinese questions. The question for this lesson is, what is the difference between Mandarin and Chinese? Sometimes people say they speak Chinese, and sometimes they use the word Mandarin. The two words seem almost interchangeable. Mandarin, also known as Standard Chinese, 普通话, is the official language of mainland China and Taiwan. It's also one of the 4 official languages of Singapore. It's the national language that's taught in schools, and it's based on the standard dialect spoken in Beijing, the capital city of China. While Chinese is a more general term, it refers to a group of languages spoken by the Han people, an ethnic group of East Asia. Chinese language includes a variety of regional dialects, such as Mandarin, Cantonese, Shanghainese, etc. As a matter of fact, each town has its own dialect. When people from different areas talk to each other in their own dialect, chances are they won't be able to understand each other. For example, in Shanghainese, people greet each other by saying 侬好, whereas in Cantonese, people say 你好. That is why a common dialect is needed for more effective communication throughout the whole country. With a standard dialect, we can all greet each other by saying 你好, and nobody gets confused. Since most Chinese people speak Mandarin, when people refer to the Chinese language, they often mean Mandarin. How was it? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. See you in the next episode. 我们下期再见吧 Bye! Hi everyone, Andrew here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer most of your common Chinese questions. The question for this lesson is, how do I pronounce the pinyin initials C, Q, X, Z, ZH? Most pinyin initials or consonants have very similar pronunciations to their English counterparts, but there are a few sounds that may not sound the way you'd expect. Now let's look at some of the difficult consonants to pronounce in Chinese pinyin. C sounds like ts, as in 菜, vegetable or dish, 醋, vinegar, and 猜错, to get something wrong. Z sounds like z, as in 汉字, Chinese characters, 儿子, son, 自己, oneself. Q sounds like qi, but with a flat tongue and a flat mouth. For example, qi, energy, 钱, money, 亲戚, relatives. Another initial sound that may be different from English or your mother tongue is X. It sounds like xi, but once again, your tongue is flat here. Xi, west, 小, small, 谢谢, thank you, and 学校, school. Now let's look at the double initial ZH. You may see it in some very common Chinese family names like Zhang, Zhou, Zheng, and in this word, 中国, China. ZH sounds like the first sound in jerky, with the tip of the tongue raised against the hard palate. Try 战争, war, 珍珠, pearl, 这种, this kind. As some of you may be wondering, aren't consonants or pinyin initials supposed to be quiet, without the vibration of vocal cords? Why do Chinese teachers and friends say 波, ci, de, fo, ge instead of b, c, de, f, ge? Well, it's because when Chinese people learn pinyin at school, they're taught to pronounce them with a vowel to make the sounds clearer and easier to say. So Chinese may pronounce all the initials as bo, ci, de, fo, ge, he, ji, ke, le, mo, ne, po, qi, ri, si, te, xi, zi, chi, shi, zhi。这些词你都会念了吗？我们这个系列怎么样？有趣吗？你喜欢吗？ Can you pronounce all these words now? How's our series? Is it interesting? Do you like it? How was it? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. That's all for today. 今天就到这里。I'll see you in the next episode. 我们下期再见。Bye. Hi everybody, Inru here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer most of your common Chinese questions. The question for this lesson is, does 你好 really mean hi? 你好 and hi. Are these two greetings the same? Actually, they're not. 你好 in Chinese is a very formal greeting. It's usually used when people meet for the first time. You can use it in self-introductions such as 你好，我叫玛丽。你好，很高兴认识你。Or you can use 你好 as a phrase to get a stranger's attention when you need to ask a question or favor. For example, you need to get to some place, so you may stop a passerby by saying 你好，请问一下，电影院怎么走？ Or when you're ordering food in a restaurant, you may say 你好，我要一份1号套餐。Well, if 你好 is used in formal situations with people you don't really know, how do you greet people you do know? Well, it's definitely not necessary to use 你好 to your best friends when you bump into them on the street. You can simply say hi to them in English, or the Chinese version, hi. This is essentially a translation from English. Hi is a very popular greeting among young people, so feel free to use it as you do in English. If you haven't seen your friend for a while, you may say, Hi, 玛丽，好久不见，最近好吗? Or you can simply say their name and then continue with some small talk. For example, it's mealtime. You could say, 玛丽，吃了吗? This is a very informal greeting, but so commonly used. After all, eating is a big deal in Chinese culture. What if you're greeting someone you know, but they're your supervisor or your senior? To make it more polite, you can address them by their title, then add a 好 after the title. Say you see your teacher, it's considered polite to greet them by saying 某某老师好. If the teacher's name is Li, you'll say 李老师好. If you see your manager Li, you can say 李经理好. Many times when at work, even if the person you're greeting is the same level as you, or even at a lower level, it's still common to address them by their surname followed by the title. How was it? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. 我们下期再见，拜拜。
Welcome to Introduction to Chinese. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Ray.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Chinese writing. Unlike English, which is an alphabetic language, Chinese is written with characters. These represent both sound and meaning.
Each Hanzi has one syllable. One or more syllables make up a word. So in Chinese, a word can be made up of one or more Hanzi. For example, the word Hanzi is made of two syllables. The first one, Han, means Chinese, or the Han people, which is a majority ethnic group in China. The second syllable, 字 means word. So Han and Zi together means Chinese characters.
Although there are more than 50,000 characters in Chinese, you only need to know 2,000 to 3,000 to be considered literate.
Still, memorizing 3,000 Chinese characters sounds like a huge challenge, but it's actually easier than you may think. All Chinese characters are made up of smaller components that are used over and over again in other characters. This means that by learning just one component, you can effectively learn multiple characters at the same time. Let's look at this aspect in more detail.
Most Chinese characters are pictophonetic. They consist of a radical and a phonetic element. These are the technical terms for the components we just talked about. The radical often suggests the meaning of a character. The phonetic part indicates the original pronunciation, which may or may not be the modern pronunciation.
For example, let's look at the character fan, rice or meal. Its radical is, which indicates that this word is related to food or eating. The second part, fan, is a phonetic element. It suggests that its pronunciation is close to the pronunciation of the character fan, meaning opposite.
To be able to recognize and write Chinese characters, you should know the basic radicals. Now we'll give you a few of the most commonly used radicals.
人 or its variation means man or person. It's present in words like 你, you, 他, he, 众, the masses. 女 meaning woman. It's in words like 妈, mom, 姐, older sister, 姑娘, girl. 心 or its variation means heart, 想, to think, 意, to recall. 手 or its variation means hand. It usually appears when the word describes an action using hands, such as 打, to hit, 拉, to pull, 推, to push, 拿, to grab. 口 means mouth. Characters with this radical often involve using your mouth, such as 吃, to eat, 唱, to sing, 吞, to swallow. 目 means eye, 看, to look or see, 睡, to sleep. 言 or its variation means speech, 说, to speak or say, 请, please or to invite, 谢, to thank. 水 or its variation means water, 海, ocean, 河, river, 洗, to wash. 火 or its variation means fire. For example, 烧, to burn, 灯, light, 热, hot. 衣 or its variation means clothing, 衬衫, shirt, 袋子, bag.
Most radicals are at the left or bottom of a character. By identifying radicals, it should be much easier to decode the meaning of new characters. For the phonetic elements, it takes time and effort to memorize their pronunciations. The more you study them, the easier it will be. When writing in Chinese, it's important to know the order of strokes. Knowing the number of strokes is also important when you look up a word in a radical-based dictionary. Some characters can have many strokes, and they can get very complex. If they're not written in the correct order, some characters may even be unreadable. So learning the proper stroke order is quite important. Remember, write from left to right.
川 river. 人 person.
From top to bottom.
三 three.
Horizontal, then vertical.
10 ten. 土 soil.
Outside, then inside.
月 moon. 用 to use.
Inside, then close.
回 to return. 田 farmland.
The middle, then the sides.
小 small. 水 water.
Okay, let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned.
In this lesson, we introduced you to the basics of Chinese characters. You also learned that Chinese characters are comprised of radicals. Finally, you learned some of the most common stroke patterns when writing Hanzi.
In the next lesson, you'll be entering Chinese boot camp, where you'll learn useful beginner phrases to get you speaking Chinese right away. We'll see you in the next lesson. Bye!
Bye! Hi, everybody! I'm Ray from ChineseClass11.com. Do you know what monsters Chinese people are scared of? In this lesson, you'll learn about 3 scary monsters in China. Let's start with the most popular monster, 僵尸. 僵尸. A 僵尸 is a reanimated corpse or a Chinese zombie. This type of zombie can only move by hopping. As the corpse is suffering from rigor mortis, the monsters have greenish white skin and kills living creatures for their life force. You might have heard about the next monster. The next one is 饕餮. 饕餮. It means gluttonous ogre. The 饕餮is a gluttonous ogre who eats precious items. A 饕餮attacks lonely travelers and kills them for their precious items. The Chinese consider this demonic ogre to be one of the 4 evil creatures of the world. That sounds pretty scary, right? Okay, here is the last monster. 女鬼. 女鬼. Have you heard of this one? It literally means female ghost. This is a restless female ghost who committed suicide in a red dress because of the injustice committed against her. She returns as a ghost to take revenge. Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. Listen to the names of each monster and repeat after me. Chinese zombie, 僵尸. Gluttonous ogre, 饕餮. Female ghost, 女鬼. Well done! Did you know that there are several Chinese festivals similar to Halloween? These are the Hungry Ghost Festival, the Qingming Festival, the Double Nine Festival, and the Chinese Spring Festival. The Ghost Month, which is the 7th month on the Chinese lunar calendar, and the 15th day of the Ghost Month are also occasions for honoring the souls of the departed with rituals and gifts. And that's it! You just learned about 3 of the scariest monsters in China and several Chinese festivals similar to Halloween. Now, learn Chinese twice as fast by downloading all your PDF cheat sheets, including survival phrases, pickup lines, business etiquette, and more. Check out the description below and go to ChineseClass11.com now. I'll see you next time. 再见.
As
Okay, okay, okay now. Okay. Good. Okay. 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 Similar to Halloween. Okay, this is the same sentence.
Yeah.
The one sentence. Okay, okay. Oh. Ah. Oh, okay. Okay, and that's it.
Hi everyone. Do you know how to say I love you in Chinese? In this lesson, you'll learn 3 different ways to say it. Let's start with how to express your feelings to your loved one.
我爱你，我爱你，我爱你，
Or if you want to explain those butterflies in your stomach, you can say
我喜欢你，我喜欢你，我喜欢你。
And when you feel that I love you is not enough, you can say
无法用言语来形容我对你的爱。无法用言语来形容我对你的爱。无法用言语来形容我对你的爱。
You just learned 3 different ways to say I love you in Chinese. And if you're interested in learning more, don't forget to download your free Romance and Love cheat sheet, which includes romantic words, compliments, and pickup lines. Check out the description below and go to ChineseClass101.com now. See you next time!
你问我爱 Hi! Hello, welcome everyone. I'm Yuting. Today I'm going to tell you 10 ways to remember words. Maybe you can find a really efficient and useful way in this lesson. So let's begin. 我一遍又一遍重复练习阅读、写作和口语。I use repetition, reading, writing, and speaking words over and over again. And I think the key of learning a new language is repetition. I write the Chinese character over and over again. 我听歌并记歌词。I listen to songs and memorize the lyrics. Actually, this way is so useful, and I highly recommended a song that name is The Moon Represents My Heart. 月亮代表我的心。你问我爱。把文字和图片联系起来。Associate the Chinese word with the picture. Yeah, that's a really efficient way. Let me show you an example. This is a picture of mountain, and this is a Chinese character. You see this? Actually, the Chinese character is original from the picture. So it's very easy and vivid to learn new words. 我把新学的词和其他学过的相关词语联系在一起。I categorize the new words with other related words that I already know. For example, today your new word is 热水. It's not 热水. 热水 means hot water. You can associate 热水 hot water with cold water, bottle of water. So blah blah blah. So you can know lots of words about water. So your words will multiply. 我把新学的词和故事、游戏或电影联系在一起。I associate new words with stories, games, or movies. Yeah, it's really a good way to remember new words because in Chinese character, each character have like one story. So if you know story, you can totally learn the words. It's very efficient way and very interesting. 尽量多阅读，尤其是多读报纸，这样有利于我记单词。Reading as much as possible, especially in newspaper, helps me to remember new words. Generally speaking, if you want to read the Chinese book or newspaper, you just need 3,000 Chinese characters. Actually, it's not so hard. If I just know 3,000 English words, I can do nothing.
我尽量在日常生活中使用中文。I try to use Chinese as much as possible in my daily life. Yeah, I think this way is the best way to learn Chinese. Use it as much as possible in your daily life. For example, you can look in the dictionary how to order food in the restaurant. You just use it. 我试着将所学到的新词用在句子里，这样我学会的是完整的表达，而不是一个个单独的词语。I try to use a new word in a simple sentence, so I learn whole phrases, not just individual words. Yeah, that's right. If you just remember only individual words and you don't know how these words performance in the whole sentence, it's useless. So it's better you also remember some sentence. 我尽可能跟母语者说话。I speak as often as possible with the native speaker. Yeah, it's a good way. You can listen the pronunciation from the native speaker, and also the native speaker can correct your pronunciation. 看 ChineseClass101.com 上面的视频 Watch videos of ChineseClass101.com. Yeah, that's a good way. Because we have lots of videos and audios. You can repeat and repeat again. Yeah, that's all for today. Today we learned 10 ways to remember words. What kind of way you use and you think is very useful? Please share with us. Please. Okay, please comment below and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. See you next time. 你问我爱 Oh, okay, it's too hard. I don't want to sing. Hi guys, welcome. Today our topic is 10 Chinese food. Ho ho ho, my favorite topic. Okay, let's begin. Let's see what we have in this lesson. 拉面 ramen, pot noodles. 拉面 pot noodles. 它为什么叫拉面？因为它是被拉出来的。Why is it called ramen? Pot noodle because the dough was stretched to the thin noodles and drop the noodles into the water, boil it. So you get your ramen. The most famous ramen in China is Lanzhou ramen. Lanzhou is a place in the north of China. 炒饭 fried rice. 炒饭 fried rice. Ho ho. Chinese people really love rice, so they can cook lots of style of rice. Fried rice is one of them, and the most famous is Lanzhou 炒饭. Lanzhou 炒饭 is made like, of course, rice and green beans, and sometimes with corn. 兰州炒饭是由米饭、绿豆还有玉米炒成的。咕咾肉 sweet and sour pork. 咕咾肉 sweet and sour pork. The dish of 咕咾肉 uses pineapple, so it tastes a little bit sweet and sour. 因为咕咾肉里面用了菠萝，所以它吃起来比较甜和酸。叉烧 char siu, Chinese barbecue pork. 叉烧 char siu, Chinese barbecue pork. I like this one most because this is pork ribs. 叉酥吃起来又甜又咸。The taste of 叉酥 like sweet and salty. 北京烤鸭 Peking duck. 北京烤鸭 Peking duck. 哔哔哔。北京烤鸭应该是中国最出名的菜了。Peking duck may be the most popular dishes for the whole Chinese food. 最出名的烤鸭是全聚德烤鸭。And for the most famous roast duck is the 全聚德 roast ducks. 宫保鸡丁 Kung Pao chicken. 宫保鸡丁 Kung Pao chicken. Yeah. 宫保鸡丁尝起来有些甜又有些酸。宫保 chicken tastes sweet and a little bit sour. 宫保鸡丁是由鸡肉、花生还有黄瓜组成的。宫保 chicken is made from chicken, of course, and peanut and cucumber. 小笼包 soup dumplings. 小笼包 soup dumplings. 小笼包好吃是因为皮儿薄、肉大、汁多。The reason for the 小笼包 is so delicious is because the skin is really thin and the meat is abundant and of course it's very juicy. You can drink the soup first. And if you bought a 小笼包 in Shanghai, there will be a straw in the middle of the 小笼包. So you can use the straw to drink the dumpling soup. This is my 小笼包，哈哈，我要开吃啦。Dangerous because it's so hot, so please careful. 粥，康鸡，我每天早晨的早餐都是粥。I eat the kanji every day for my breakfast. 粥有很多种类 ，kanji have lots of varieties. For example, 小米粥、绿豆粥、玉米粥 and my favorite is 皮蛋瘦肉粥. It's made from 1,000 years egg. 粽子 rice dumpling. 粽子 rice dumpling. We eat the rice dumpling in the Dragon Boat Festival. 我们在端午节的时候吃粽子。粽子是由粘米制成的。Rice dumpling is made of sticky rice. It can be salty and sweet. The North people like the sweet rice dumpling, and the South people like the salty rice dumpling. 月饼 mooncake. 月饼 mooncake. 我们在中秋节的时候一边吃月饼一边赏月。We eat the mooncake in the Mid-Autumn Festival and also watch the moon. Okay guys, that's all for today. Today we learned 10 Chinese food. What's your favorite food? Please tell me. My favorite Chinese food is the 叉烧肉 and also 粥. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe.
Hi, it's Ray. Welcome to Chinese Top Words. Today we are going to talk about top 10 compliments you always want to hear. Let's begin. 你很帅. You're so handsome. Okay, the first phrase is 你很帅. In English, it means you're so handsome. Usually we say it to guys, to male. 你很帅. 很 means very, 你 means you, 帅 means handsome. If you want to compliment your boyfriend or you want to flirt with one guy, you can say 你很帅. You have to say it with emotion. 你很帅. If you're a guy and nobody say it to you, it's okay. You can say it to yourself. 我很帅. 我很帅. 我 means I. You got it? 你真漂亮. You're so beautiful. So 你真漂亮 means you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. 你真漂亮. 你真漂亮. 漂亮 means beautiful, means pretty. Usually we say it to girls. And it can be girl to girl or boy to girl or you can say it to yourself. 我真漂亮. We don't usually say that. 你很聪明. You're so smart. 你很聪明. In English, is you are so smart. Sometimes it can be ironic. As like if you cheat in the exam, you can say 你很聪明. So it actually means, yeah, you're very good at tricking. So what? So be careful the tone when you say that. 你很聪明. 你很聪明. 你很厉害. You're great. So the next one is great. 厉害. 你很厉害 means you are great. So it's very common. You can use it every day to different people. You can say it to your kid, to your brother, to your sister, to your friend. So, for example, your friend passed the exam, your friend got a new girlfriend, your friend is on TV. You can say 你很厉害, or you can just simply say 厉害 with this. In China, it means 厉害. 真棒, awesome. So next one is 真棒, awesome, 真棒. Yeah, like this is so delicious. 真棒. This restaurant 真棒. And we're going to Hawaii tomorrow. 真棒. So you can use it not only for people but also for situation. It's very useful. Remember it. 真棒. 干得漂亮. Beautiful job. 干得漂亮. Beautiful job. So your team got the first place in the competition. 干得漂亮. Your team player did a very good presentation. 干得漂亮. Beautiful job. 你的性格我很喜欢. I like your personality. 你的性格我很喜欢. I like your personality. 你的性格 your personality. 我很喜欢. I like it. Or in Chinese, you can converse the order. 我很喜欢你的性格. Usually we don't say it to our boss or to our teacher, to our professor, or to our family members. Usually we say it to the people we like or the people you want to flirt with. 你的品味很好. You have good taste. 你的品味很好. You have good taste. Or you could just say 你的 sense 很好. I like your sense. You visit your friend's home and you like the design. You can say 你的品味很好. You have good taste in choosing the right furniture and very good design. 这件衬衫你穿起来很好看. This shirt looks great on you. 这件衬衫你穿起来很好看. So this shirt looks good on you. You can play with this sentence. You can say, this hat looks good on you. 这个帽子你戴起来很好看. Or you can say, this sunglass looks great on you. 这个太阳眼镜你戴起来很好看. So 很好看 is a very useful part. Or if you don't remember, you don't know the Chinese word before the sentence, you don't know what's the Chinese word for the shirt, for the sunglass, you can just say, 很好看. Remember that, 很好看. 跟你在一起我总是很开心. I'm always happy when I'm with you. Okay, the next one is 跟你在一起我总是很开心. I'm always happy when I'm with you. So 跟你在一起 means I'm with you. 总是很开心 means I'm always happy. Or you can reverse the order. 我总是很开心跟你在一起. So you can use it not only while you're dating somebody or with your friend or even business situation. It's like I'm always happy when I'm working with you. So 跟你在一起工作我很开心. 跟你在一起吃饭 I'm having dinner with you. So you can use it not only in business situation or in casual occasion. 跟你在一起我总是很开心. So today we did top 10 compliments you always want to hear. Let us know what your favorite compliment is. And don't forget to check out and subscribe to ChineseClass101.com. See you there. Bye. Welcome to Chinese Top Words. My name is Ray. Today we are going to cover 20 travel phrases you should know. Let's get started. 我可以要一张地图吗? Could I get a map? 我可以要一张地图吗? Could I get a map? Map. If you use your hand gesture enough, I think Chinese will know what you want. Yeah. 你会讲英语吗? Do you speak English? 你会讲英语吗? Do you speak English? So when you see m at the end of a sentence, Chinese sentence, you will know this is a sentence for asking a question. 什么什么么 what 么。有没有从机场进入市区的巴士 Is there a bus from the airport to the city? 有没有从机场进入市区的巴士 Is there a bus from the airport to the city? So in China, since we have a big population, especially in the airport or in a train station, sometimes we need to line up for the taxi. So it may be a very useful sentence when you get to the China for the first time. Wi-Fi 是免费的吗 Is the Wi-Fi free? Wi-Fi 是免费的吗 Is the Wi-Fi free? Another common question is, what is the Wi-Fi password? Wi-Fi 的密码是什么？今晚有房间吗 Do you have any vacancies tonight? 今晚有房间吗 Do you have any vacancies tonight? So different from English, we put the time in front of a sentence instead of at the end of the sentence. So 今晚 means tonight. 我可以换一个其他的房间吗 Could I move to a different room? 我可以换一个其他的房间吗 Could I move to a different room? So when you're not satisfied with the room, maybe it's filled with smoke, smell, you can use this sentence. 我可以换一个其他的房间吗无烟房 无烟房 means non-smoking room. 我有预定 I have a reservation. 我有预定 I have a reservation. You can use it in a restaurant or in a hotel. 可以给我们看一下菜单吗 Could we have the menu, please? 可以给我们看一下菜单吗 Could we have the menu, please? 菜 means dishes. 单 means list. So a list of dishes, it means menu in English. 你有什么推荐吗 Do you have any recommendations? 你有什么推荐吗 Do you have any recommendations? So speaking of Chinese dishes, my favorite one is tomato fried eggs. 西红柿炒鸡蛋 I strongly recommend it. Please try it. 可以给我结账吗 Could I have the check? 可以给我结账吗 Could I have the check? So in China, when you go to a restaurant, go having dinner with your, especially your close friends or your family, one Chinese specific situation might happen. Like everybody will fight for check. Could I have the check? 我可以结账吗 It's not so often heard, but instead it's like, I want the check, 我要结账 Yeah, in China, people like paying for their close friends and family. 我对花生过敏 I'm allergic to peanuts. 我对花生过敏 I'm allergic to peanuts. Among my friends and my family, I've never heard anybody is allergic to anything. I guess we were born strong. 请给我一杯水 Water, please. 请给我一杯水 Water, please. I would recommend you to say 请给我一杯冰水 Because in China, many people like hot water. Me too, I like hot water. So if you do not add 冰 means ice. So 冰水 means ice water. So if you don't add that, you probably get a hot water. 这个多少钱 How much is this? 这个多少钱 How much is this? So if you go shopping in China, if it's not department store, usually the price is not written on the product. So the merchant may offer different prices depending on the people. You have to always ask and always negotiate. Otherwise, you will get overcharged. But also enjoy the fun of negotiating the price. 我要10个这个 I'd like 10 of these. 我要10个这个 I'd like 10 of these. If you feel this sentence too long for you, you can say 这个我要10个 or you can say 10个. This is Chinese way of showing 10. 你能给我打个折吗 Could you give me a discount? 你能给我打个折吗 Could you give me a discount? So like what I have said before, in China, negotiating price is very common except the department store. So this could be very useful. 能刷信用卡吗 Do you take credit card? 能刷信用卡吗 Do you take credit card? In China, personally, I don't use credit cards so often. I usually use my cash or like an account in my phone. So I just show my phone. It's like Apple Pay. It's very easy and convenient. 火车站在哪里? Where is the train station? 火车站在哪里? Where's the train station? So we put where at the end of the sentence in Chinese. So be careful, reverse the order. 请问车费是多少? Excuse me, what's the fare? 请问车费是多少? Excuse me, what's the fare? Usually you use this sentence when you take a taxi. So when you get to the destination, you can ask the taxi driver, 请问车费是多少? 能不能帮我拍张照? Could you take a picture of me, please? 能不能帮我拍张照? Could you take a picture of me, please? Instead of asking this favor in a question, you can also say, 请帮我拍张照. Please take a picture for me. 这是去机场的巴士吗? Is this the right bus for the airport? 这是去机场的巴士吗? Is this the right bus for the airport? Thank you for watching Chinese Top Words today. I'm happy to share with you the useful words when you travel in China. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to check out our ChineseClass101.com. I'll be there waiting for you. Bye!
Welcome to Introduction to Chinese. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Ray. In this series, you will learn everything you need to know to get started learning Chinese.
That's right, and we're here to help guide you on your journey. In this lesson, you'll learn the reasons why you should start learning Chinese and how to get started. Chinese is a super language with many dialects. Cantonese, for instance, is a dialect of Chinese. In mainland China, in order for people speaking different dialects to understand and communicate with each other, a standard and official language was created based on Beijing dialect. It's called Mandarin Chinese.
普通话. This literally means the common dialect.
Mandarin Chinese is so widely spoken that it's not only in China. Other countries like Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia use Mandarin as an everyday language as well. Statistics show that more than 14% of the world population are native Mandarin speakers, which makes Mandarin the most spoken native language in the world.
Being able to speak Mandarin Chinese means you will be able to communicate with 1/6 of the people on this planet.
Which you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. Who knows? One of them could be your future husband or wife. Besides the large Chinese-speaking population, China is also one of the oldest civilizations in the world, with over 5,000 years of rich history. Did you know that the Terracotta Army, which is a collection of terracotta sculptures, was built in 209 BCE?
They were buried upon the death of the first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang, in order to protect him in his afterlife. Today, you can visit them in Xi'an province of China. Being able to speak Chinese will definitely help you understand the story behind this magnificent world heritage.
Chinese culture has had a huge influence on cultures throughout Asia. In terms of language, Chinese language shaped many other languages, similar to the way Latin shaped the languages of Europe. Chinese characters have been introduced to most of the Asian languages, such as Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, and Thai. Even today, kanji, or Chinese characters, is still part of the Japanese writing system.
By learning Chinese, you will be able to understand and appreciate different aspects of ancient Chinese and Asian cultures, such as calligraphy, paintings, poetry, music, and architecture. This makes touring around Asia all the easier.
Last but not least, China is the second largest economy in the world. Since China opened its doors to the West in the late 70s, the Chinese government has been working on bringing foreign investment and economic cooperation to the country. This creates many employment opportunities for foreigners to work in China.
China is also one of the fastest growing nations as well. The future of China is promising. That's why many companies now do business with China, and why many movies set in the future show China as a superpower and global influencer.
Learning Chinese will allow you to have a leg up on the future. This can mean big things for your career and might help you land your dream job.
Even if you don't work and live in China,
Being able to speak Chinese will give you an edge when competing for employment opportunities in your own country.
Chinese is often called one of the most difficult languages in the world. It is certainly a challenge.
But it's not as difficult as you might think.
Chinese grammar is actually pretty easy. It has the same sentence order as English. Plus, there are no noun plural forms and verb tenses to memorize.
Even the four tones are not that difficult. Pay attention when native speakers are talking and mimic their pronunciation. You will definitely get the hang of it.
Plus, many Chinese people, especially the younger Chinese, speak some English. They're always so eager to help you. You'll find a lot of teachers once you let people know you're studying Chinese.
Most importantly, we're here to offer you any help you might need while learning Chinese. Let's get started by looking at a couple of common Chinese phrases.
To express your gratitude, you say,
谢谢,谢谢.
You can use this phrase in any occasion and under any circumstances. To make your gratitude more heartfelt, you can add,
你, which means you. 谢谢你.
It makes your thank you sound more personal and polite. So to say thanks or thank you, you can say,
谢谢 or 谢谢你.
Let's look at another well-known phrase.
我爱你.
Do you know what that means?
我 means I, 爱 means love, 你 means you. So 我爱你 means I love you.
Exactly the same order as in English. If the Chinese characters or
汉字
look daunting, don't worry. There's a romanization system for all the Chinese characters in Mandarin called pinyin.
With the help of pinyin, you should be able to pronounce any Chinese words you see, no problem.
We'll get into that in a later episode of this series. Well done! Now you know how to say thank you
谢谢 or 谢谢你.
in Chinese. We've covered a lot of things already, so why don't we wrap up the first lesson and recap on what we've learned? In this lesson, you learned that studying another language has many benefits, such as providing new job and business opportunities. China has a colorful history with many things for you to see and learn. And to say thank you in Chinese, it's
谢谢.
In the next lesson, we're going to demystify Chinese pronunciation by taking a look at the sounds and tones of Chinese. So be sure to watch the next video. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Bye.
Hi! Welcome to Introduction to Chinese. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Ray.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Chinese grammar. Word order refers to the order in which words are structured to form a sentence in a given language. The basic word order for English is subject, verb, object, or SVO for short. Let's break down the English sentence, I ate an apple. We can see that the subject I is presented first, followed by the verb ate, and then finally the object apple is positioned last. This is the basic word order for sentences in English.
Now let's compare that same sentence. I ate an apple in Chinese. 我吃了一个苹果. If we break down this sentence, we will have 我, I, which is a subject, 吃了, which means ate or have eaten, a verb. Next, the object, 一个苹果, an apple. So the order is subject plus verb plus object, or SVO for short.
This is exactly the same order as in English. Let's try another basic sentence. I like Chinese.
I is 我, like is 喜欢, Chinese is 中文. So we put the subject first, then the verb, and then the object. Altogether we have 我喜欢中文.
Now you know the word order in Chinese. Let's try to add more components to basic words to make longer sentences. Adding a time phrase in Chinese sentences is a little different than in English. In English, we put the when phrase in the last part of the sentence. For example, I eat an apple every day.
In Chinese, we put the time phrase after the subject. So we need to put every day after I. So we have 我爱每天 every day 吃 eat 一个苹果 an apple subject plus time phrase plus verb plus objects 我每天吃一个苹果我的姐姐明天去美国我的 my 姐姐 older sister 明天 tomorrow 去 go to 美国 the United States
My older sister is going to the US tomorrow.
我的姐姐明天去美国
To add places, put them after the time phrases. For example, I eat an apple every day at home. In Chinese, that's
我每天在家吃一个苹果在家 means at home so it's I every day at home eat an apple 我每天在家吃一个苹果
Let's try another one. I was born in the US in 1990. Remember, subject, time, place, and then verb.
我1990年在美国出生我1990年在美国出生
To form negative sentences, there are two ways for two circumstances.
You can use 不 or 没有 We use 不 in present tense sentences or when you don't want to do something. 我不喜欢中文 I don't like Chinese. 我不去 I'm not going. 我不吃 I don't want to eat. We use 没有 in past tense, meaning didn't or haven't done something. 我没有吃苹果 I didn't eat the apple. 我的姐姐昨天没有去美国 My older sister didn't go to the US yesterday.
To form yes or no questions in Chinese, it can't be easier.
Just add a question marker, 么 at the end of a statement. You like Chinese is 你喜欢中文 To make it do you like Chinese, we simply put 么 at the end. 你喜欢中文吗 Let's make 你每天在家吃一个苹果 a yes or no question. 你每天在家吃一个苹果吗
Now you know how to ask questions with a yes or no answer. But how do you ask questions using question words, such as what, when, where, how, why, and which?
Let's put the above questions words into two groups. We put what, which, and where after the verb. It's like replacing the object with a question word.
For example, what do you like?
你喜欢什么？你 you 喜欢 like 什么 what
Which one do you like?
你喜欢哪个？你 you 喜欢 like 哪个 which one
Where do you like?
你喜欢哪里？你 you 喜欢 like 哪里 where
And for the rest of the question words, we put them before the verb, so it's subject, question word, verb, object. In some cases, you can omit the object to make the sentence concise. When are you going?
你什么时候去？你 you 什么时候 when 去 go
Why are you going to the US?
你为什么去美国？你 you 为什么 why 去 go to 美国 the United States
How are you going to go?
你怎么去？你 you 怎么 how 去 go
If we have a sentence with both a time phrase and a question word, which should go first? Just remember, question words are always stuck with verbs. So in this case, it would be subject, time phrase, question word, then verb.
你明天怎么去？你 you 明天 tomorrow 怎么 how 去 go How are you going to go tomorrow?
Basically, questions have the same order as SVO statements. Just remember to stick the right question words in the right places. And don't forget the question mark. Well done! Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that Chinese uses the exact same SVO word order as English. From this, you learned how to form affirmative and negative sentences. And finally, you learned how to convert an affirmative sentence into a question. We've covered only the very basics of Chinese grammar. If you're interested in learning more, check out our Chinese in 3 Minutes video series. In that course, we teach you useful phrases while covering the fundamentals of Chinese grammar, and each lesson is only 3 minutes long. In the next lesson, we're going to introduce you to Chinese writing. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Bye.
Hi! Welcome to Introduction to Chinese. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi, everyone. I'm Ray.
In this lesson, we'll focus on teaching you the most useful Chinese words and phrases for absolute beginners.
Make sure you are repeating the words out loud after me.
Are you ready? Let's get started. The best phrase to learn when studying a new language is one that expresses gratitude and appreciation. If you had to learn only a single phrase, this would be it.
We taught you this phrase in the first lesson of this series. Do you remember what it was? 谢谢. It means thank you. 谢谢.
Keep repeating after Ray until you get it.
谢谢.
Your turn.
谢谢. 谢谢.
In Lesson 2, we mentioned the pronunciation of the consonant.
She, it sounds like the SH in English, only with flatter lips.
Then we have the compound vowels.
Yeah.
The tone in the first syllable is the fourth falling tone,
谢.
and the second syllable is the neutral tone.
谢.
Altogether,
谢谢. You can see the radical in this character 谢 is.
this indicates that the meaning of this character has something to do with speech. The next phrase we'll teach you is perhaps the second most useful phrase of all. It's to apologize or to excuse yourself.
对不起, which means I'm sorry.
This is a formal way to apologize for when you did something wrong. Repeat after Ray.
对不起. 对不起.
But if you want to interrupt someone and ask a question, we don't often use this phrase. Instead, we use
请问.
before a question.
It literally means, may I please ask? 请问.
If you want to get the waiter or waitress's attention, in English, you might say, excuse me. But in Chinese, you just need to raise your hand and your voice and say,
服务员.
which means waiter or waitress.
服务员.
Don't worry, it won't sound rude. Everyone in China does it. It's the most common way to get a waiter's attention in China. Now you can say, thank you very much, excuse me, and I'm sorry in Chinese. Let's move on. Asking where something is an incredibly important and useful phrase to learn. You're going to need this when asking where the bathroom, the train station, or where the hotel is.
在哪里? 在 means at. 哪里 means where. So the pattern is something or location plus 在哪里.
For example, if you want to ask, where is the bathroom?
洗手间在哪里?
Or for the subway station, you say,
地铁站在哪里?
To sound more polite, you can add, may I please ask, before the sentence. We mentioned this phrase earlier in this lesson.
请问洗手间在哪里? 请问地铁站在哪里?
So altogether, the polite way to ask where something is,
请问在哪里?
if you know the person you're talking to well, you can simply say,
在哪里?
your turn.
在哪里? 请问在哪里?
Okay, now let's teach you some vocabulary to use in the sentence. Here are some of the most common words you'll need to learn.
洗手间
Bathroom,
洗手间洗手间在哪里?
next we have
地铁站
subway station,
地铁站地铁站在哪里?
next
超市
supermarket, or convenience store.
超市，超市在哪里？
Next,
我的座位，
my seat.
我的座位，我的座位在哪里？
You can ask where anything is simply by saying the place or location and
在哪里？
to ask where something is in Chinese. In this final lesson, you learned how to say thank you, excuse me, I'm sorry, and to ask where something is in Chinese. And in this series, we introduce you to the basics of Chinese pronunciation, grammar, writing, and more. Let's conclude with some parting advice from Ray and listen to some of her tips on how to learn Chinese from a native Chinese perspective.
The best way to learn Chinese, particularly if you want to improve your communication skills, is to watch and study contemporary Chinese videos. That's because we often use expressions in daily conversation that aren't necessarily introduced in grammar textbooks. Even though Mandarin is a common language in China, men and women, elderly people and children have their own ways of speaking. This means they have their own vocabulary and tones. For example, women use "ne" at the end of their statements a lot with the purpose of softening their tones. But if men use that, they will sound very feminine. Make sure you mimic the right person. Watching contemporary videos, such as our videos here at Chinese Class 101, will ensure that you are learning real, applicable Chinese in the fastest and most effective way.
You've reached the end of this course, Introduction to Chinese, but it's only the beginning of your journey to Chinese fluency. Where do you go from here? Try our Ultimate Guide to Chinese Pronunciation series, where we teach you all the sounds of the Chinese language. Or check out any of our other video series. We have many different categories for you to choose from. Good luck as you continue learning Chinese, and we'll see you in another video. Bye!
Bye!
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Chinese ebook before it's gone.